The views and opinions expressed in this channel are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the views of our guests. The views and the opinions of the guest do not represent nor reflect the views and opinions of the Lockoutmen channel, nor its host. Our guests' opinions are their own. This channel is for educational, entertainment, and informational purposes only, and utilizes fair use materials in accordance with applicable laws.
So drivers, check this out right quick. What if the success stories in trucking was just silent, right? And only those that are speaking are the ones who pretty much lost everything in the process.
And here we go.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for listening. I am Locked Out Men. Our story begins with a comment, simple but loaded.
Hold on.
Why don't you post those of us that have been successful in leasing? It's easy to post the failures.
Now, I've seen this kind of pushback more than once. Every time a driver posts something about being burned when it comes to lease purchasing, there's always a couple of people that would chime in and say something like, well, not everybody fails at lease purchasing. And what, drivers? They are right. Now check this out, drivers. There are successful lease drivers out there, right? But the question is, drivers, where are they? There's only a handful of you guys out there, but where you at though? And why, drivers, we don't hear more from them? Now, drivers, let's be for real, right? And I'm going to probably say this bluntly. And a lot of you guys that are leasing, you guys probably might get in your feelings after I say this, right? Some of the successful lease drivers, they pretty much don't speak on it. They stay quiet. Maybe it's because they don't want to jinx it. Or maybe it's because they're too busy grinding. Maybe, just maybe, they know their success comes with conditions that these drivers just don't want to admit. Because drivers, here's what happens. Most of the time, it's just not full transparency. It's, I'm just doing good. Some of these drivers just won't tell you about that $1,800 truck payment, or how they don't get paid for 3 weeks waiting on the repair, or how they just slept in the shop's parking lot just to save a few dollars. See, drivers, it's easy to call for a balance in the conversation, but when it comes to the failures, those drivers are the only ones that's telling their story. They telling their story raw, they telling their story unfiltered, and that drivers pretty much ends up online. See, drivers, the truth isn't always pretty, and success is definitely not always clean. You see, drivers, let me tell you something right quick. See, leasing isn't for everybody, right? It isn't for me. It probably might not be for you, but for some, it do work. For others, it just wrecks everything they built, right? But if you're the ones out there that are winning, as I've been saying for years, because I talked to plenty of drivers that just haven't made it with leasing, and then there's a handful of you that comes in that comment session and say, hey, they not doing it right. They not doing this. They not doing that. They not getting their fuel. They're not putting the numbers together. They're not figuring out how to balance where they can go versus balancing where they need to go and balancing out the money. A lot of you guys have come in the comment section and state that always. And if you're the ones that are winning, congratulations, more power to you. There are a few of you guys that I have talked to that have completed lease purchases. I talked to a driver from US Express just last year. He completed a lease purchase with them. Now, I'm not sure about you prime drivers out there, because the last person I talked to about a lease, they don't do lease purchase. I may be wrong on that front though, because the last driver I talked to again says that they finished out the lease, but then they turned around and leased another truck. So I'm not sure how that works. But if you prime drivers want to come in and kind of correct me on that, that is fine. But again, if a lot of you guys out there winning, by all means, share the formula. I understand a few of you be gatekeeping, and that's cool. That's cool. But don't just say I'm successful, right? Because that's what majority of you guys just come in here and just say that. Tell us. Be transparent about what you're going through. If your truck broke down, how much it actually cost you to get it fixed. How many weeks you had to go zero before you get back into the black. Because drivers behind you, they looking at you because they're watching other drivers fail. And that's probably might be the reason why a lot of them drivers aren't going into lease purchasing, because again, they see all the drivers that talk about their issues and their failed attempts at lease purchase. But you guys that are winning, where you at? Where you at? Because those drivers that's interested, they need to see the bigger picture.
What's your take on lease purchase? Have you been winning with it? Or did it hit you harder than you expected? I want to hear your story. Email me at lockoutmenpodcastguest@gmail.com. Hit that like button if you've ever questioned the lease game. Subscribe if you want more real driver reactions like this, and drop a comment. Do you think lease success stories are being hidden, or do they just not exist in large numbers?